E nei ka huri te titiro ki tēnei kaupapa kōrero, social-ecological relationships driving ecosystem regeneration. And to speak to this, please welcome Danielle Shanahan, Zealandia and Joanne Clapcott from the Cawthron Institute. Tēnā kōrua.
Tēnā koutou katoa. I mean, we've heard over and over again today that our future, the future of humanity really is inextricably linked to Te Taira and to our taonga, the biodiversity that sustains us spiritually, culturally, physically, of course, as well. So as we stand here today, we are seeing the decline of so many species and habitats. It's so easy to feel hopeless. In fact, I think the latest statistic is that eco-anxiety affects over 60% of young people today. It's a phenomenal thing to contemplate. In our work, I think this is the button. In our work, we actually haven't had to look far to find hope and to find optimism. So across Aotearoa, New Zealand, thousands, and I in fact think it's probably in the millions now, thousands of people are actively involved in caring for Te Taira. So others are working in industries where their actions influence directly the survival of our taonga and the habitats they depend on. I think there's often an eagerness for the tools and resources to regenerate biodiversity, and I think Eco-Index is a classic example of a tool responding to that need. We've also got a unique community landscape where people, often whatever their political leanings, are looking to see our biodiversity cared for. So as an example, 93% of people in Wellington support the eradication of rats, stoats and mustelids from our landscape. What other political initiative has that kind of support? I'd love to hear if you can think of one. So in this investment, our opportunity really is has been to understand how we can empower and scale up the impact of community-led restoration initiatives so that all New Zealanders can contribute to the decline, to reversing the decline of biodiversity. So our starting assumption is that, oh, I've gone too far, sorry Joanne. Don't look, anyone? So our starting assumption is that if we understand, value and foster connections between people and between people and nature, then we can make enduring change. So our research questions were, what are the connections between people and nature? How do we value those connections? And how do we foster those connections?
Tag team. But before we tell you what we have achieved, we wanted to share with you our fundamental research principles. Because it's through the adoption of these principles that we believe we've had optimum impact. Oh goodness, kei. So firstly, our research has involved the co-development with community-based partners, and where it's appropriate and possible with mana whenua. We prioritised the engagement and development of early career researchers, and we built interdisciplinary capability and capacity, especially in social-ecological research. And we built on existing research partnerships where possible. And for all these principles, genuine engagement and support of mātauranga a hapu and mātauranga a iwi were our guiding principles and foundational driver. So what did we find? Well, our first take-home message for you, and this is our high-level findings from 12 research projects, is that we can find pathways forward on even the most trickiest issues when we work together to reduce scale mismatches and power inequalities in environmental governance and management. For example, through 2 different studies that focused on introduced species, we identified temporal and spatial mismatches in human-nature relationships, whereby tangata whenua usually shoulder more of the burdens and experience less of the benefits. Through a relational values approach, we helped reduce these mismatches and increase social fit by raising awareness, understanding and acceptance of different groups' values, thereby facilitating more equitable decision-making. Increasing the social fit can in turn increase social-ecological fit, which in turn has ramifications for ecological fit. So on the ground, this research has resulted in Dock and Fish and Game partnering with tangata whenua in black swan management. And for trout, it means dock and fish and game, partnering in a new research program with 3 different iwi to develop just and sustainable freshwater fish management. Our second key learning for you is that there is a deep hunger for information, resources and knowledge that enables people to create positive change. One of the ways in which our research helped address this need is through the Farming with Native Biodiversities project. The aim of this project was to make it easier for farmers to integrate existing native biodiversity into their farming systems and to protect and enhance the biodiversity already present. Why is this impactful? You probably already know that because it's impactful because 50% of the land cover in Aotearoa is in pastoral farming. And this contains 1/4 of the remaining native biodiversity in Aotearoa. This project had ecologists working with farmers throughout New Zealand to develop farm plans including biodiversity objectives. It also developed a wealth of resources and pathways for shared learning. Building off relationships developed in Phase 1 investment, the Farming with Native Biodiversity project will continue to provide support to farmers and is now hosted by Landcare Trust.
Awesome. Oh, there we go. I keep going the wrong direction. So our third key learning is that communities have a phenomenal volume of ideas and energy. Just to get a bit of an idea here, how many people here are involved in some kind of a catchment collective or a group of collectives? So I'd say 70 or 80% there. So there are a lot of community collectives across Aotearoa and New Zealand. A lot of them are working independently, struggling to develop their own tools and resources, learning alone. A bit of a spoiler alert or a teaser perhaps for tomorrow, Kylie McFarlane's led some phenomenal work developing a collectives shared learning forum. It's been very successful and needs a home as well. So Kylie will talk tomorrow about this, about that network, that pilot, and we'll dive deeper into exemplar learnings as well. So please don't miss that one. But our work also enabled place-based research aligned with 3 community collectives. So the Opawaho Heathcote River Network, Predator-Free Wellington and Reconnecting Northland. I was lucky enough to be most closely involved with Predator-Free Wellington, so a couple of insights there today. Not sure if many of you are aware, but just over Tangetekeo, so glamorously named by my people as Mount Vic, just over the hill there, is Te Motu Kairangi on Miramar Peninsula, and that is the world's first rat, stoat and possum-free urban environment ever globally. That's pretty cool. So really impressive outcomes happening here. Now, that group's particular interests and research are about the social and ecological outcomes that arise from this type of work. Their goal was to share their learnings with others so that they didn't have to replicate this learning. Now, Julie Whitburn, postdoctoral researcher on this work, found evidence that bird communities had increased extraordinarily. So Piwakawaka alone, up 550%, which is pretty impressive. But further, the social benefits have been exceptional. So people who are able to connect under a common sense of purpose had the unique ability to express their values in their volunteering work. So this is a critical secondary outcome for a city that actually has a very high vulnerability to natural disaster. These projects are creating social resilience that will see us in good stead into the future. So I'd just like to highlight that people like Kylie and Julie as early career researchers undertaking participatory research are really able to sensitively, positively and with curiosity explore where things haven't gone right as well, and that's most crucial that we learn from. So in the example of Predator-Free Wellington is how do we more effectively connect with iwi along the process of a project like this. So these are key learnings that can be shared across all collectives. So just to wrap up, circling back to the research principles that Joanne introduced. So we've outlined some key learnings already, and you heard we've had a lot of projects and we've just given you a taster of some of these. So come and chat or see the things down the back if you're interested. But we've shown that participatory research really is a mechanism for change. So here we've had co-development as a key feature of our work. We've involved 50% early career researchers, and developing skills in social and ecological research is critical for New Zealand right now. It's been fully interdisciplinary. 25% of our researchers have been Māori and Māori-led kaupapa, and this has provided an avenue for relational research as well.
Aroha mai, Stacey. I know we're out of time, but we're here on behalf of a large team, so I just wanted to say ngā mihi kia koutou to the 23 researchers that were directly financed by this program, and to acknowledge the dozens of others who are involved via co-funding or in-kind support. And we estimate that we've worked indirectly with thousands of people because of this mahi, and we don't know all their names, but we're inherently grateful to their commitment to te tae ao. So kia ora koutou.
Kia ora, Danielle and Joanne. I just want to ask one question, and you can yell it if you want to. When you said come and look at the things down the back, what do you mean?
So down the back, you can see all of these really cool, waving around, hand waving around, these little policy briefs. So they're a really fantastic way to get a bit of an insight into all of the work that's been happening today. I know a lot of groups have made them.
Ka pai. Yeah, research briefs, thank you so much. It's just when you get a good reference like things down the back, we've got to go with it. Kei te pai, go with it. Good reminder.